All right, let's just let some people join first.
Yeah, let's just wait a little bit. Oh, so now people are joining. They're slowly
Got
joining.
2 viewers right now.
Yeah. Do you think we should wait a little bit longer?
Let's just wait maybe like
1 more minute?
1 more minute. So yeah, 1 more minute.
Okay, so do you think we should start?
Yep, I think we're pretty good right now.
Okay, so let's introduce ourselves first.
All right, hi, I'm Justin.
And I'm Kaitlyn, and we're part of the Pr0Teens, and this today, in collaboration with Best Buddies, we are going to be bringing our STEM experiment for this week. And for last week, if you guys missed last week's or the weeks before's experiment, you can go check in our Instagram page. Last week we made oobleck, and that was really fun. So if you're wondering what we did, you can just go into our Instagram page or Best Buddies Instagram page and check it out.
All right, and so this week we'll be making basically a
Rainbow paper
towel fueled by the capillary action. For this experiment, it's very, very simple. You'll just need some washable dry erase markers.
Yeah. Some paper towels, like kitchen towels. Like, it's okay if you get a little bit extra, just in
A pair of
case.
scissors to cut those paper towels, and some water.
Some water, and like
as well as
some containers.
2 cups or containers of any sort to
Containers
contain
or
the
cups
water.
to keep the paper towel.
All
So,
right.
for our first step, we are going to cut the paper towel so that each of the widths can fit into the container. Bless you.
Not bad. Okay.
So these are our containers. So we have to cut the paper towel so that the width can fit the container. So now we're going to do that, and we can do that together.
All right. So preferably you want your paper towel to be like a little bit long so you can see the capillary action actually
Yeah. So
happen.
you want to keep the length, but for the width, you have to make sure it's able to fit. So you can like test that out first before you cut, and maybe fold it until you think it's the right length, and then.
All right.
Wait, let's just see. I think
that should be pretty good, yeah. So you can crease it so you can find a mark. You crease the paper towel, and then you just want to cut it. Do you want to cut this, Kaitlyn?
Sure.
Okay. And while if you're a child that may start your cutting, be sure to have a parent or guardian around you just to ensure that you're safe. And while they're busy cutting, you can go grab your washable markers.
And you have to make sure they are washable markers.
Permanent markers will not do because they won't be performing the capillary action that we need for this experiment to succeed.
Okay, so now that we're finished cutting, it should look like this. The length is still very long, but the width is the width will be able to fit into the containers like here, like so. Okay, so for our next step.
we're going to be drawing rainbow blocks onto these paper towels. Make sure that on either side the rainbow colors are the same. So for example, if you draw a red block over here, there must be a red block on the other side over there as well.
Yeah, and we're gonna be drawing it a little bit on each side, like here. And you can do any pattern of colors, but since we're doing rainbow paper towels today, we will be drawing it in the pattern of a rainbow. And make sure when you're drawing, you keep it the same length for each, and you have to make sure you go over it a few times so that there can be enough dye. Okay, so now we're grabbing our rainbow colors.
So you got some really nice colors here. You don't need as many colors as we do right now. You could have, 3, 4, or even 5.
It can be any combination of colors, basically, right?
All right, so let's get started then.
So we're gonna start.
Let's start with our red. And we'll just be drawing a red block on one side of the paper towel right here. So you might need to go over it like a few times and make sure it covers a decent portion of your paper towel as well.
Yeah, because we need to make sure there's enough dye so that it can dye the whole paper towel.
Go over it quite a few number of times so that this don't fall off. All right. Remember, when it comes to the experiment, more color is always better than less.
Yeah, just to be safe, right?
Just to be safe.
And also, since we're going to be using water in this experiment, it might be wiser to have like something to cover your table just in case there's a spill, or maybe some extra paper towels on hand so to clean up if you do make a spill. Okay.
All right, that seems
so this is
good.
our first block of red, and then afterwards we will be doing the other colors in the same order. And then, so now do you want to do orange?
Sure, let's do orange now. If you want, you can color red on the other side.
Yeah, and I will do red on the other side. And
start with orange over here.
And also, we just realized that you might need something on the table so that the color doesn't go through. And when you're drawing like the second color or like the color on the side, it's better if it like reflects. It's like similar or to the first block you drew. So it should be like approximately the same length or same width.
Alright, so now I finished with the orange. If you're noticing that your color is bleeding through a bit, that's actually a pretty good sign, as long as you have a paper towel beneath, because that shows that you are applying enough color.
Yeah, so this is the red and then the orange, and they're like approximately the same length and same width. And I'm starting to do the red on this side, and you just have to keep doing that for all the colors.
Alright, now let's use the yellow.
Okay, so now I'm moving on to the orange after I'm finished the red on this side.
And I have almost just completed the yellow, so I'll be moving on to the green afterwards. You really want to make sure that these colors are in fact really thorough, especially if a longer piece of paper towel. You want to apply maybe just like a bit of some extra color to ensure that you can have like your entire paper towel coated in these rainbow colors later on during the experiment. All right, yellow should be fairly good now. Maybe a bit more in the corners.
Throughout this process, it might be very easy to like make a mistake or something, even though it's better to keep it like as similar, to keep each blocks as similar as possible to each other. But it's okay if there's a mistake, because this is just an experiment, and it's it won't affect the ending that much.
Alright. If you're noticing that you have a couple of blank patches, you can use a dotted motion to help fill those up as well. Alright, that green looks pretty good. Green followed by blue.
If you're not following at our speed, because we do have 2 people to do it, it's okay, and you can take your time, and we will give some extra time later, because we do realize that we have 2 people doing the work that one person would be doing.
Of course, though, if you really do want to have like a faster experiment results, you can call over a parent or a guardian to assist you in this process. Alright, that looks pretty good so far. Our final color here will be indigo or purple. And that should pretty much complete our rainbow. Alright, and I'm just going to touch up a bit of the corners with some more red.
Yeah, so if you feel like you don't have enough ink, you can always go over it again. Just be very careful, because the paper towel might break if there's too much ink. So just be very careful when you're coloring, and use lighter motion.
right. And I think we're pretty good for this process.
Yeah, I'm just gonna check to see if I have anything I need to fill. With the yellow and the orange, I'm just gonna dab a little bit more ink.
I use a bit more red here too as well, actually. Right. Oh.
Sorry.
Here you go, and that's what our end result looks like.
So this is one side, and this is the other side. So this is what you're trying to aim for. I feel like I just want to add a little bit more ink on my side, because I mostly compared to Justin's, I feel like I need a little bit more ink.
And maybe I'll touch on my orange a bit on the end, because it's looking a bit barren over there as well.
So don't be afraid to put more dye, it won't harm it. So as we're just filling it in a little bit more.
Alright. And while we wait for Kaitlyn to finish up, if you have like an extra long piece of paper towel, like maybe even double or triple the length of ours, if that doesn't end up happening, I would highly recommend that you color in the backside of your paper towel as well, just to get a bit of some extra ink there.
You can also make the blocks, each block longer, so there can be more ink to reach the middle. Okay.
All right.
How do you feel?
Should be done there.
I think we should be.
That looks pretty good. Yeah. Mhm.
So let's show. This is what we have.
That's our end result over there.
And if you put enough ink, if you look at the back, you can see that it's rainbow too.
You can see the ink has completely bleeded through our paper towel here, and you can see it on both ends very clearly.
Yeah.
That's the sort of that's the sort of coverage you're looking for here.
Yeah, and so this is our finished paper towel, and now we're going to be moving on to our next step. So we're gonna put all our markers
Cap
away.
our markers just to make sure that they don't dry out. You're gonna put away your markers because you won't be needing them anymore for this experiment.
Okay, so for our next step, we are going to grab our 2 containers, and then we are going to fill them with 3/4 of water. It doesn't have to be that exact, just eye it. Justin, do you think this is enough?
I think that should be pretty good. Yeah, that looks like 3/4.
Yeah, so this is what our container looks like. If you guys have a bigger container, just do 3/4 of that. And also, if you guys have a bigger container, your paper towel should be bigger than ours. It just has to be a proportion. I think this one is too much. Yeah.
That might be a bit too much. You can just pour it back if it's too much. That should be good. Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
So this is how our 2 containers are filled now. And now we're going to place it here. And we're going to place the paper towel inside of the container, right? So how are we going to place this? We're going to put one colored side into each container, right? And we're only going to add 1/2 of the color.
Yeah.
So
you want basically half your color in the water and the other half should be outside. And notice almost immediately, this depends on the kind of paper towel they're using, but the water almost immediately starts to soak up, or the paper towel starts to almost immediately soak up the water. And then you'll notice that your color is actually seeping up along the edges of the paper towel.
Yeah, so now we're just going to wait for the process, but be sure to only let 1/2 of the color be submerged.
Just to make sure that, not too much of your paper towel ends up, seeping out. I'll just help prepare my paper towel a bit on that end.
Okay, so now we're just going to wait and watch this process happen. So this is pretty much the most important process of this experiment. And
it might take a while. You just want to wait a bit.
We're going to wait a bit, and then we'll get to see the rainbow paper towel.
All right.
So as you guys can see, before the color block was way smaller than this, and now it's kind of crawling and growing slowly into the middle.
So while we wait, do you want to explain the process behind the paper towel functions?
Sure.
All right. So basically, what's happening here is something called capillary action, and it's what's causing the water to move up along the paper towel. So water adheres to the small vessels in the paper towel, causing an upwards force on the liquid at its edges. Capillary action allows liquid to move through or along the surface of another material in spite of other forces such as gravity.
Capillary action happens all around us and helps us with everyday life. For example, when you dry yourself with a towel after a shower, the towel absorbs the water from your body by using capillary action. Plants and trees also use capillary action to live. water is absorbed by the roots, and capillary action allows the water to travel up the plant and allows it to live. When we water plants, so we should water the. This is also used when we water plants, because usually we should put the water near the roots so it's better sucked up instead of at the leaves, because the roots absorb it using capillary action. So as we explained, you can see that the color is growing towards the middle.
And so what's basically happening here is that the water from this basin, which you actually might notice is that the water levels here are in fact decreasing. And it is because of capillary action, which is causing the water to be sucked up through the tiny walls and cells in this paper towel and traveling along through it.
Yeah. So even as we're talking, the color is getting longer and longer, and we can visually watch how it's growing.
All right, this experiment might actually take a while to end up finishing. So if you're, this is like the extra time that you have here. If you guys are, maybe behind a bit, you can take this time right now to, quickly finish up and catch up on your experiments. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you notice that this paper towel, the parts of the color is actually kind of wet. So you have to be careful because it might get on your table.
Yeah, it might get on your finger or your tables. But be sure, this is also one of these why we suggest to use washable markers. Because after you're done with any of these projects, you can just take the water from before, you can pour it onto a paper towel,
and
or just wipe out everything. And you'll get all those marker marks completely off of your tables. Yeah. And off your hands as well.
So as we're watching, we can see that, and we can just keep observing this paper towel, and we really notice how there's way more color than before, right? And it's slowly meeting each other, creating a rainbow.
And the other thing that you might notice is that at the very base where you applied these colors, some of it is also seeping into the water. So the water itself is also leaching some of these colors out of the paper towel too.
Yeah. That's something pretty normal to happen because it is washable markers, and water does cause it to wash off of the paper towel.
Alright, so the process has slowed back quite a bit on our side, but eventually it will in fact cover the entire paper towel.
Yeah, and we're really approaching the middle right now, and we'll get a full rainbow soon.
Just wait a bit.
So we're just going to wait and observe the process while it happens. And I feel like this is a pretty magical process as we watch it. It's like something we wouldn't expect, really, but...
It's not something you see in everyday life. If you actually look very, very closely, you'll notice if your paper towel has even those dents or cells on it, you'll notice that the towel itself fills up each of these cells very, very slowly, one by one. And that's all a part of the capillary process.
So, as we're waiting for this, should we explain maybe next week's?
All right.
So, for next week, we're going to be doing an experiment at the same time on Sunday. And we're going to be doing...
a shaving foam rain cloud.
Yeah, so this is a really fun process. So, I feel like the process of making it is actually the best part.
It's definitely one of our more enjoyable experiments as well.
And you can just really have fun with it instead of...
waiting for things to happen as we are here. So,
have more fun, yeah.
If you want to talk about the materials here, so what you'll need for this experiment are going to be clear glasses, or a vase, or even just a bowl with food coloring, as well as some shaving cream.
Small bowls or containers, an eyedropper or a syringe or a teaspoon, anything to pour in the food coloring. But for the clear glass vase or bowl, it should be pretty big, kind of like our mason jar over here.
Right here.
Yeah, it should be that size so we can better watch the action happening.
And of course, the most important item you're going to need for this experiment is going to be shaving cream or shaving foam. If you don't have it, there might be substances you can use, for example, like whipping cream, for example, where you aren't exactly sure how effective it will be. So we highly suggest that you go out and get some shaving cream.
Yeah, so I feel like shaving cream would be the best, honestly. But if you want to watch this experiment, be sure to come again next Sunday at the same time at 2:30. Okay, so as we were talking, wow,
look at how far we've gotten. It's almost at the center already.
It's almost a full rainbow. We can really see that the colors are meeting, and we can see how far all the colors traveled. So this is why this is the importance of putting enough dye, because it will have to travel a long distance. So that's why dye. If you don't have enough dye, the color might not go all the way.
So if you actually remember from the very beginning of our experiment, we started off with only about this much color at this very end, and now it's practically quadrupled in size, I'd say, even maybe trice-trupled in size. That's quite impressive.
So now it's basically like finished, right?
Yeah, it's basically finished,
So,
I'd say.
Don't you think as you're observing this process is like a really cool and magical process? So I think that's the best part of this experiment.
I would agree. I think the end product of this is also quite pretty as well. I really do like how the colors, they sort of like start to mix together over time, and they end up meeting up in the center.
Yeah, but if you want to keep trying, you can try with different combinations of colors to see what you can make and see what it looks like. Just experiment with it, experiment with the colors, maybe experiment with the size of the paper towels, and maybe you'll learn something different. So if you guys have any questions, you can put it in the chat.
Put them in the comment channel.
And also, we would like to mention that our FTC season is almost starting in very soon.
Very, very soon.
So we'll be starting to build our robot, and I hope you guys, if you guys see us in the competitions
or our Instagram channel as well, please stay tuned for that.
Yeah, you guys can say hi, and we hope we do well this year. Yeah.
Yep. And look at that. I think it's practically completely met at this point.
Yeah. And for anybody who joined like later in the live, we will be posting our live again in our Instagram page. So if you missed some part, you can just check in our Instagram page to see what you missed, and then
And I think
that's
that, I think we're pretty much done here. Have a wonderful day, everyone. We wish you all the best. And if you want to take one more look at our rainbow paper towel now.
This is basically what it looks like now. If we waited a little bit longer, it would be finished. But we're if we wait a little bit longer, it will be completely like mixed. Maybe even mixed with like mixed even more. But that's just the that's just a matter of time.
Yep.
But I think that's all for this week's experiment, right?
That should be all for today. Yep.
Okay.
And so we all wish you a absolutely wonderful rest of your weekend, and have a wonderful day.
Bye.
See ya.